organization, we are so thrilled and excited to welcome every one of our program partners or schools or institutions, anyone who's really joined us this afternoon. It's really our pleasure to welcome you to this information session on our early literacy programs that our team in their respective portfolios within the organization will be taking you through what we've prepared for this afternoon. And one of the things that I really wanted to say to all of you partners that Wordworks, thrives, and we live our purpose by working with partners like yourselves. There wouldn't be an organization if we were not working and collaborating with yourselves. So this is so important to our organization, and we cannot overemphasize how valuable just working with our partners naturally, because we are not able to be at each and every home, school, institution, so we work and thrive and grow through working with partners. So that is why we are so thrilled and excited to welcome you to this session, to say, the team is here to share as much of the information as possible, that you engage with them, that you maybe ask questions when the time comes, but to say you are valuable, you are part of us, you are part of our family, and we're excited to see what today brings. If everything is okay, I'll maybe call Colleen. Colleen, if you can probably maybe take from here to maybe introduce the team and how the afternoon is going to be unfolding. And I'll be part of this session, and I'm looking forward to everything that's going to be happening this afternoon.
Thank you, Mamuso. Yes, thanks. I'll do that. So we have a team here today to go through all of our programs age 4 to 8 years old today. So we have a group of us who are going to present today, but we also have our members, other members of Wordworks here today. So very grateful to Mamuso for being here and sitting through the session with us. And then just to say, I'm Colleen Diedrichs. We do have another Colleen at Wordworks, and she is Colleen Hughes. So I just want to make that clear that I'm Colleen Diedrichs, and I'm one of the program managers. I will be part of the presentation today, and then we have my colleague, Pauline Solomon. Pauline, do you want to say hi or say anything? I know you're starting to save your voice.
Hi, everyone. Colin just called me when I was clearing my throat. Yeah, I'm just going to make an apology up front with my frog in my throat. I'm not well, but you can't catch any germs when you're online, so that's a good thing. There are people that are complaining that the sound is very soft. So can I just say, Christine, it's probably on their side? Yeah. Okay, so people are giving, okay, sorry, Colin. So, hi, everyone. I'm really looking forward to sharing with you today.
And she is another of the program managers at Wordworks. We have Natasha Rosen, who will rather introduce herself. I won't say much.
Thank you, Colleen. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Natasha Rosen. I'm an early literacy specialist at Wordworks. And I almost said I'm part of the ECD team, but we cover, Colleen will tell me, we're all ECD. But when I say ECD, the part of the team that I work with is mainly from pregnancy to up to 4 years, so the very younger group. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. We also have other members here today who will be sitting in and contributing if there's a need. So I can see Cheryl and Thomas have cameras on. So Cheryl is also one of our early literacy specialists working on the programs. I can see Insiki there. Insiki, do you want to wave so it's who you are? Insiki is here as well. I can't see, Pauline, maybe you can see anybody else of our team. They are present, but the cameras are probably off. But we have Christine, and Christine will be doing all the technology for us. I mean, we can speak, but Christine's the one who manages all of that for us. Thank you, Christine McLachlan is right here in the house. So I'm going to go on then. I think I've done what I had to do for that. That's fine. So I'm going to go on to say, before I introduce Christine moves to the second slide, I just want to say that feel free to put your camera off if you want to save data. It's always better for you. We don't mind, it's what you prefer. And then also we have the chat open, so feel free to ask any questions as we go along today. Okay, we will address those questions, but we also hopefully will be able to, towards the end, address the questions in the chat. Unfortunately, you won't be able to have your mic on, but the chat is there for us to communicate. Okay, so my next slide is going to be on who are we, who is Wordworks, and we know we have people present here today who have been part of the network for a long time, right? You may be doing 1 or 2 of the programs or more, and then we also have people present here today who are new to Wordworks. So you come here for some information, wanting to know and make decisions as to, do you want to take on any of these programs next year? So welcome to that. So we are, Musa has already alluded to, we are an early literacy organization, an NPO, and we work, as you may have picked up from the introductions, from birth to 8 years old. And I like to say right to the grade 3s, who they are 8 turning 9. So we cover the foundation phase as well. And we believe that these are the formative years that we need to lay that foundation very solid. And so we have written these programs, Wordworks has written these programs, and we train on these programs to reach those children in the years birth to 8 years old. Okay, and we offer, as you can see on the slide, we offer classroom programs as well as parent support programs. And so all of the programs are listed there. We will not be addressing all of those today because we're going to focus on the 5 to 8 years old, but Natasha will be speaking about the pre-grade R as well. Okay, so we have the Every Word Counts under the classroom programs. And then we have the Little Star. So that's between the 3 and 5 years old. And then we have Stella. You may know it in the Western Cape as ELIT. In the Gauteng Education Department, it's known as the Grade R Language Improvement Program, right? And the rest of our network, we call it by the name, we named it Stella. So that is the Grade R Classroom Program. And then on the right-hand side, you will see the parent support programs. So the parent support programs, we have the Every Word Counts for the birth to 3 years old, and also Every Word Count program also for the 3 to 5 year old. Then what we're going to address today is the Homeschool Partnership Program. That is for 5 to 8 years old. That's the parent program, support program. And then we also have the Time Home Learning Program, which is also for grade R and grade 1. So we're going to unpack all of that today. This is just to give you a sense of what you can expect today. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to move on to Pauline, and she's going to talk to you about the next slide.
Hello again, everybody. So this slide, this infographic, shows Wordworks' reach in 2021. You may not be able to see all the figures clearly, so I'm just going to summarize for you what you see on your screen, and I'm going to be focusing on the circles in the graphic because that speaks directly to our program work. Last year, we shared our materials and provided support to 68 organizations and 317 schools and ECD centers. If you go into the second band of colorful, of green, orange, and red, the second band coming from the Wordworks logo, if you can see that through almost 4,000 teachers and practitioners and approximately 35,000 parents, almost 53,000 children were reached through these programs in schools, in homes and communities. And if you want a further breakdown, you can see the color bands indicate the breakdown of the children reached per age group. So on the far left speaks to the 0 to 3-year-olds, our programs that support 0 to 3-year-olds, the orange band programs that support 3 to 5-year-olds, pardon me, and in the red band, where we're going to focus our attention today, the 5 to 8-year-olds. So we're very excited that through these programs, so many children have already been reached. This is not counting, so it excludes the number of grade R children who've been reached through grade R teacher training. Colleen just mentioned it right now in her introduction, the Stellar program. So if you look at the yellow band, which is on the, pardon me, on the outer circle, the yellow band indicates our ongoing partnership with education departments to support, to resource, and to provide training of trainers for grade R teachers. We've been partnering, if you can see on the far left, with the Western Cape Education Department known since 2015. Colleen just alluded that you might be familiar with it being called the ELIT program, and with the Gauteng Department of Education since 2021. So why did we want to show you this? Well, we hope that you can see that we value our partnerships. Mamuso said that right at the beginning when she welcomed you. So while we, at the bottom of that circle, while we can provide the materials, the training and support, we know that children, families and communities can only be reached through your work, through your commitment to purchasing the materials, and not only purchasing the materials, but doing the hard work on the ground. So we hope today that as we go through the afternoon and our presentation, that you will be inspired to join our network if you aren't already. And if you are already part of our network, that you'll be motivated to sign up again in 2023. I'm going to hand over to Colleen now, who's going to start talking through the programs, and she'll start with the Stellar Home Language Program. Thanks, Colleen.
Right, thank you, Pauline. So now we're going to start discussing the Stellar program. So I know we may be giving you lots of information today, so just please bear with us. Make your notes. We will be sending out, maybe I should just say this now, Pauline will say it later again. We will be sending out information tomorrow to you, just to remind you about each program. But it's good for you to get a sense today when we're showing you the slides and talking to the program. So Stellar is a home language program for grade R teachers, as you can see on the slide. The next slide, Christine. It's for grade R teachers who work with the 5 to 6-year-olds. Okay, and this is the classroom-based program. You know, and we know when the programs are written for classroom-based, it's always caps aligned. So those skills, as written out in the home language program in caps, this is the content that fits those skills, right? So the teachers are teaching these lessons around a 2-week story-based cycle. So over 2 weeks, they work with one story, and they cover all of those skills across a 2-week cycle, okay? So the goals of Stellar, the goals of the ELIT, or the Grade R Language Improvement Program, it's to ensure that the children experience this well-balanced, very active and creative and effective home language lessons. And we know in grade R, it's all they're learning through play. We always say structured play, right? It's well-planned lessons, but the children are experiencing it through a very, I don't want to say too informal, but it's an informal play-based learning, okay? It's centered around the story across 2 weeks. And the other goal is to strengthen the children's the skills as written in caps, the oral language, which is the listening and speaking, the emergent reading, the emergent writing skills, and very importantly, building those children's phonological awareness, right, and letter sound knowledge, so that they could become successful readers and writers. And just for you to know that it's Stellar in the Western Cape, we work in the 3 languages of the Western Cape, across the province, and in the Gauteng Education Department, we were working across all 11 South African languages. So the resources are versioned into all those languages. And I want to also say, especially the letter sound and all of those phonological awareness and letter sound knowledge is written according to the language, not just translated. Okay, so that's important to say. So on the next slide, we have shown you the partnerships of Stella. Who are we working with currently? Right. So, so currently we are working within the WCD, the Western Cape Education Department, on the ELIT project, which has started in 2016. And each year a new cohort of teachers come into grade R, and they take on the ELIT program. They get the resources and they are trained by the department with support from Wordworks. And then last year in 2021, we started working. In fact, the planning was done a few years before, but we started implementing the Gauteng department, their grade R language improvement program, right, using the Stella materials. We are currently still working with them, and they are training. We train the officials and some department heads, and then they run the training with the teachers across their province, and it's being implemented in the classrooms. And then we do have a Stella project in the Eastern Cape where we're working with NGO partners as well. We have another project in Zimbabwe with an organization called Children in the Wilderness, and that's also going very well. Then besides that, besides the provincial and the NGOs, we are also working and supporting schools, ECD sites, independent sites that may not be sponsored, by the provinces because they are independent and maybe not registered. We also work with those sites. Okay, so that's just to explain what partners are. On the next slide, it's to talk about the program. Let's just quickly go through the resources so that you know what the teachers receive when they get trained and when they have to implement. So every teacher receives a concept guide, and as you can see, I know you can't read it, but it's just to give you an overview of what is a concept guide. It has 3 sections. Basically, it explains in the first section to the teachers all about the grade R language improvement program, okay, the home language program. So it gives them, unpacks that. And then in the section 2, those are the principles of teaching are unpacked. Principles of teaching in grade R. Okay, we unpack those principles and how what it looks like in the classroom. And then the third section of the concept guide is about the actual grade R classroom, and we give them lots of support on how to manage the Stella in the classroom. Okay, so those are all conceptual things that we cover in the concept guide. Then the next set of materials, on the next slide, you will see these are activity guides. So the teachers will receive for each term an activity guide, and lovely color coded. You will see the different colors for the different terms, and in that activity guide, they have their lessons. Lessons are structured over a 2-week cycle. It's explained, it's unpacked. Each activity, the steps are there, what resources they will need, and how to teach it. Okay, so that is the lessons. Those are the lessons for each term, covering the stories for that term. Each term will be a certain number of stories. There are 19 stories across the year. Okay, so each term will cover the whole term's work. Okay, then on the next slide, shows a few of the resources. So when the teachers have to teach, they get a resource pack. So they get the concept guide, like we showed you, they get the 4 activity guides for the term, and then they get, with the activity guides, they get the resources. Resources will be a big book. There's an example of David's new bike. They'll get a big book, right? And the big book will be the story that the teachers will do the shared reading, with the learners. So besides the big book, they get the puppets, right? And these puppets are laminated on lovely cardboard, and they press out these puppets and they can put it on, toilet roll holders, sucker sticks, sand container, tin or jar box. So they have ways of mounting those puppets, and they teach the story using the puppets very interactively. Then there are also 6 sequence cards, right? And these sequence cards help them when the teacher does, questioning about the sequence of the story, and they talk about the story, and there's lots of comprehension that happens. They use the sequence cards. Then, of course, then they also have activities that they have to do. I know these activities that you see, that's not just paper-based activities. It's lots of multi-sensory activities, but also then they will get templates for that. Okay, so that's just a broad overview of what the materials look like. So what I've just said now is on the next slide. Christine will show you, there is a little video on these materials, and maybe the video will give you another, a better understanding or consolidate what I've just said. So Christine, if you can play the video, please.
The program is supported by high-quality, engaging resources designed to excite and inspire both teachers and learners alike. Teachers receive the concept guide at the beginning of their journey. The guide sets out the educational and curriculum principles that underpin the program design. Teachers are able to reference this guide throughout the teaching year to remind them of key ideas. Bilingual toggled guides enable teachers to read the guides in both English and their home language. The materials are available across all of South Africa's official languages. Teachers receive a term pack each term, which offers a full set of resources designed to support a story-based approach for teaching and learning. Each 2-week cycle of teaching is built around a story which is brought to life for the learners through a program of activities which strengthen their oral language and emergent literacy. Each pack contains a term activity guide, a set of pop-up puppets, sequence pictures, and a big book for each story. The activity guide for each term introduces new stories, songs, vocabulary, and daily activities for whole class and small group teaching. Teachers are given a list of items they will need to collect and prepare before lessons, as well as steps to follow for each activity. Templates at the end of the guides can be photocopied for learners. The term activity guides include an overview of a 2-week teaching cycle, a table that shows alignment of activities with caps, and checklists and rubrics to support assessment. Colorful laminated puppets are provided for each story. Teachers use the puppets and other props to tell each story, and the puppets are also used and enjoyed by the learners. Colorful, beautifully illustrated set of 6 sequence cards are provided for each story. The big books have simple text and similar illustration to sequence picture cards. There is one big book per story, and this introduces the learners to printed words that tell the story. The full color resource packs include game boards and activity pages that are laminated and durable and are used repeatedly over the course of the year by learners to practice and reinforce the language skills that they are developing. Teachers will also build up their own resources over time to teach the program. The activity guides provide teachers with guidance to collect, make, and co-create additional supporting resources by themselves and with their learners. A comprehensive list of these ideas can be found in the activity guides.
Thank you, Christine. So that gives us an overview of the resources. We also want to highlight, which I may not have mentioned, that besides the classroom teaching, there are also support for assessment of those skills. Okay, so it's all in the Stella materials. On the next slide, it's just a lovely feel good to show you what Stella looks like. Also, before I go to that one, Christine, I must talk to what we want to achieve, what we want to see. You can go to the next slide, Christine. It was my error. Yeah. So we want what we want to the learners to achieve when you use Stella in your classroom. So those are the skills as you know it. As you know it in caps, and we were saying if those learners achieve those skills, then we know we've laid that foundation very solidly for them to be ready to start their formal grade 1 class. Okay, and it will, they will be in a good place to be successful throughout their schooling if this foundation is so solidly laid. So this is the grade R children. These are those kids in the middle there, and they want to be confident to be able to express themselves in writing as well as be competent in reading skills. So it covers all of the emergent reading, right? It covers everything that you need to teach for a grade R learner to be ready to for the formal grade 1 to 3. The listening and speaking, which is the oral language, lots of activities covered by that. Of course, the drawing and emergent writing. We know how important it is for learners to draw, to be able to put what they see on paper and then to be able to learn to write about it. And we know in grade R, they are learning, it's emergent writing. So we're not expecting learners to be able to write and spell correctly, but we are supporting that process, and all those stages to writing will be achieved so that they are ready for the next step. And then, of course, the letter sound knowledge. As we know, learners, there's lots of listening activities, right? There's a whole section in Stella on letter and sound activities. And very importantly, the phonological awareness to be able to listen for that sound in words, to be able to do syllabification. All of those phonological awareness skills will build on this child being able to eventually read and write for meaning. Okay, so that is what we want to achieve through Stella. Then on the next slide, Christine, I'm not sure where we are now. Oh, that's the Stella in the classroom. So we just wanted to show you what it looks like in the classroom. You can see those learners busy with one of the activities, very much engaged. And there's a teacher showing her puppets, right? Prepared for that 2-week cycle with that story that she's going to teach. And then, of course, there's a learner drawing with the drawing and emergent writing. The teacher sits. There are also whole class, I didn't say this, whole class, right? Whole class story-based activities, whole class letter and sound activities, and then they have the small group rotation where the children get a turn to be in the group with the teacher each day, and each day they do a different activity in their small group. So there's a small group on the mat with an independent reading using their little books. Okay. And I think the last slide on Stella that we have is also, we just wanted to show you the teacher using the little books in the classroom. Okay, and let's see how this works.
Okay, sizawufunda incwadi yethu ngoku, incwadi yethu encinci enemifanekiso efana nqwa nala mifanekiso ilapha emakhadini. Niyawabona mos la makhadi ne? So ngoku into endizoyenza ndizowunika umntu incwadi yakhe sizokwazi ufunda. Asibambeni incwadi zethu ngolu hlobo. Masijongeni phaa ekoneni, ikhona indawo ebhaliweyo phaa. Ithini igama lencwadi yethu? Masifundeni. Indlwana eyenziwe ngomnqwazi. Kukho ntoni phaa ngaphandle kulaa ncwadi yethu? Sibona ntoni? Yintoni esiyibonayo phaa? Yintaka nomnqwazi. Nantoni enye? Nomthi, hlahla lomthi. Okay. funda incwadi yakho.
Indlwane yenze ngunqwane.
Okay.
Mama kaWendi noWendi baqobe sesipileni. Uthi uWendi mama ngayokudlala phandle.
Yes.
Wathi umama kaWendi ngokuvuthuzayo uma ushukumisa umthi wamnxiba isitya sakhe wathi Wendi nanku umnqwazi wakho.
Okay.
Waphuma baleka wajonga phezulu.
Asityhile ke iphepha elilandelayo.
Wathi nanku umnqwazi wam uyaphaphatheka nomthi. Size ndiphinde ndimfumane. Ayexelela iitshomi zakhe uba umnqwazi wam usebenzile. UMakaWendi babona intaka umnqwazi yenze indlu yentaka.
Bathini uMakaWendi?
Bathi Wendi umnqwazi wakho usebenzile. Bahleka.
Bathini xa behleka? Enkosi kasiqabeleni wazomila.
That's such a lovely little video. The little book, they receive a little book template with every story. So each of those 19 stories will have a little book as well. And this is, the teacher's been using it so well in her classroom. And that little boy, there were no words, right? It's level 1, they're reading the pictures. He interpreted the stories so well. He told his own story. There was pretend reading, but he's learning so much about reading, right? About book knowledge. So this is what happens. This is just a taste of it. It's not training, it's just an info session. We have a lot more to show you when you do get involved in Stella. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Stella's little brother or little sister. It's called Little Stars. And so Natasha is going to talk to you about Little Stars. And before she starts, as I mentioned, Stella is for grade R. And Natasha will talk to you about Little Stars. Thank you, Natasha. Natasha, while you're taking your breath, I just want to say, I noticed there were hands, and unfortunately we can't put the sound on for people, but Maureen, if your hand is up, do you mind? And I saw Scott also had his hand up, or her hand, I'm not sure if it's male or female, to type your question or your comment in the chat, and then we can respond. I see Cheryl's very good with responding but Kerry or any of the other Wordworks ladies can answer it in the chat. I hope that's okay. Thanks. Over to you, Natasha.
Thank you, Colleen. And I think for everyone that just joined after we started our session, I'm Natasha Rosen. I'm an early literacy specialist at Wordworks. And today I'll just be sharing some information with you about our Little Stars program. And Colleen just said, Little Stars, we refer to it as Stella's baby sister. And as we go through the next few slides with me, you will see that it looks very similar to Stella. So yes, it has the same structure as Stella. However, the Little Stars program is for pre-grade R teachers working with children aged 4 to 5 years. And the reason why we developed Little Stars, the Little Stars program, is because we found that the teachers, the grade R teachers, are already so excited using Stella, and it works so well in the classrooms, that pre-grade R teachers also, some of them started using the program as well. But the Stella program was slightly advanced for the learners who are age 4 to 5, and we developed a more age-appropriate program for pre-grade R learners. So the program is designed to strengthen language and emergent literacy in pre-grade R classrooms. Christine, you can move to the next slide. And the Little Stars program is very interactive. It is a classroom-based program. It's activity-rich, and it is aligned with the National Curriculum Framework. It is built around a 2-week story-based cycle. And what we as Wordworks do is we train trainers to offer this resource-based program to pre-grade R teachers. So I'll take you through the materials, and just like Colin shared a video that gives you more information about the program, we will also be sharing a video about the Little Stars program with you. Before we do that, Christine, you can move to the next slide. Okay, we are at the video. So Christine, can I ask that you move to the following slide before we come to this video? The little. Okay. Thank you so much. So before Christine plays the video for us, the video does give us a wonderful overview of the Little Stars program and what is included. So the Little Stars program offers a full year classroom program. So it includes 18 stories. And as I mentioned before, we use one story over a period of 2 weeks. The stories are aligned to the elders, which are the early learning and developmental areas for birth to 4 years in the NCF. And each theme pack contains the materials that the teacher or the practitioner will need for the 6 weeks of teaching. Christine, can you move to the next slide? Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, the Little Stars program is very similar to the Stellar program structure, or as many of you know it to be ELIT, or the Gauteng Language Improvement Program. It includes a teacher guide, which is available in 2 languages in the teacher guide. So you can have a guide that is available in English and Afrikaans, or English and isiXhosa. Everything is included in your guide. What the teacher needs to do, what steps she needs to follow, and what resources she needs for every activity. Part of the materials for each story, there is a big book available, sequence cards, puppets, and black and white resources as well. So all of these resources are made available for each story pack. So Christine, I'm going to ask you to move 2 slides back to my video. Thank you. You can play the video. The Little Stars language program is for pre-grade R teachers working with children aged 4 to 5 years. The program is designed to strengthen language and emergent literacy in pre-grade R classrooms. It is interactive, activity-rich, NCF aligned, and is built around a 2-week story-based framework. The teacher's guide includes stories, songs, and activities in 3 languages to support multilingual teaching and learning. Teachers receive carefully developed lesson plans and beautiful classroom resources, and have the opportunity to implement the ideas in a cycle of teaching and reflection that builds their confidence and develops their expertise. Each teacher guide includes 3 new stories, songs, vocabulary, and daily activities for whole class and small group teaching. Teachers are given a list of items they will need to collect and prepare before lessons, as well as steps to follow for each activity. Activity templates of the guides are included and can be photocopied for the learners. Colorful laminated puppets are provided for each story. Teachers use the puppets and other props to tell a story, and the puppets are also used and enjoyed by the learners. teachers often find it useful to stick the puppets onto toilet rolls or sucker sticks. Colorful and beautifully illustrated sets of 6 sequence cards are provided for each story. The big books have simple text and similar illustrations to the sequence picture cards. There is one big book per story, and this introduces the learners to printed words that tell the story. Teachers will also build up their own resources over time to teach the program. The activity guides provide teachers with guidance to collect, make, and co-create additional supportive resources by themselves and with their learners. A comprehensive list of these ideas can be found in the activity guide. Thank you, Christine. As you have seen in the video, all the materials that's included in the Little Stars program, it's very beautifully colored, illustrated materials that's made available to you. And although there are the black and white resources available, it is most of it, or all of it, I can say, are multi-sensory activities that the pre-grade R teacher would do in the classroom. Christine, we can move to the next slide. Okay, so what we do as Wordworks, I've mentioned, we train trainers through the ECD forums or NGOs and also the districts and individual sites as well to implement the Little Stars program in the classrooms at ECD centers or at schools who have pre-grade R classrooms. So on the slide, we have just 2 pictures of what our in-person training looks like. And during the very hard lockdown of the COVID pandemic, we also developed a Little Stars, a learning management system, or LMS as we call it, which is really an online platform for Little Stars. And what the online platform offers is it offers any practitioner to sign up to do the Little Stars program or training online if they are not linked to a ECD forum or NGO. So all the activities are made available to the practitioner in the online platform. And once the course is completed, the teacher is also issued with a certificate for her work that she's done in the online platform. So we can move to the last slide, Christine. One of the things that we've also done in this year, in 2022, was to work directly with practitioners. And we've had our ECD team, we've had 2 big projects. One was a research project, which was part of the British Academy. And then one which was also done, which was sponsored by the Old Mutual Foundation. And through this, we could work directly with practitioners, get a sense of how the program is implemented in the classroom, if there's any challenges that they find, or just to get the real experience. So we've trained those practitioners, we've been in the classroom doing classroom visits, and on the pictures on the slide, you can just see the children engaging with some of the activities which are part of the Little Stars program. There's a practitioner as well using the materials in the classroom as well. So I think before I end off, I know Colleen said we will share some more information. It's quite a bit to take in this session, but we will gladly share some more information with you after the information session as well. If there are any questions at this point, I will just keep an eye on the chat as well and answer them from there. Thank you very much. I think, Pauline, I'm handing over to you.
Thank you, Natasha. So we have just given you an overview of our 2 classroom-based programs, Stella and her little sister, Little Stars. And now for the next part of the afternoon, or of the program presentations, we're going to focus on, pardon me, our parent caregiver programs. So I am going to start off by talking to you about Time, our newest offering in the as part of our Wordworks suite of offerings. Just as a little background, Time was really born out of the need to support families during COVID. But since then, not since then, we've always realized the importance of families and caregivers and after school programs in supporting children. So it has become even more important, not only as a COVID response. So Christine, you can go to the next slide. So the Time program, which stands for Together in My Education, it speaks to all the partnerships that the program will build between those who are all involved in children's learning. So the home, the school, and the community. The program is a set of daily story-based activities with language activities designed by Wordworks and maths activities from Red Ink. Time focuses on building the foundational skills of the foundational language and math skills for grade R and grade 1 children. It's designed for parents, caregivers, and tutors who work with children from the ages of 5 to 7, that's grade R and grade 1. And because the program is aligned to the CAPS curriculum, it complements what is being taught in the classroom. I think we are the most excited about the fact that from 2023, next year, the materials will be available in all South African languages. At the moment, it's only available in English, Afrikaans, and isiXhosa. So, Christine, I'm going to ask you just to move to the next slide. And before you play it, we're going to play you this video just for you to get an overview of the Time program. Thank you, Christine.
Here is a brief overview of the Time home learning materials for grade R and grade 1. We suggest you set aside time every day for 5 days a week to do the activities with your child. 20 minutes with your grade R child and 30 minutes with your grade 1 child. You will always start your learning at home time together with story time. Sit comfortably with your child and show them the big picture story, the little book story, which you will fold beforehand, or the read aloud story. Ask your child what they see and what they think you are going to talk and read about. Now, enjoy the story together. In the second activity, your child will get a chance to draw and write about their favorite part of the story, or something related to the story. Next, your child will get a chance to do some looking and listening activities. These activities will help your child hear and observe more and pay attention for longer periods. Every week, your child will get to play an active game or a board game. The games will help develop their small and big muscles and will give children playful opportunities to learn about letters and words and to practice their counting. Children learn best when they are having fun. Your child will also get plenty of practice forming different shapes, letters, and numbers each week. This will build their confidence. These 5 different activities get repeated every week with a different story and different letters and numbers. In addition to this focused learning time, we remind you of the many opportunities you have to talk, to sing, and to count with your child. And we emphasize how important it is to praise and encourage children every day. We have provided an A3 poster which you can put up somewhere convenient at home. It will help you think about each activity before you start. It also helps you get prepared. We've given you a simple recipe for making Play-Doh, which you will need for the letter and number formation activities, and provided instructions on how to make a dice for some of the games, and how to fold the little books for story time. The resource pack has all the activities you will need for 6 to 8 weeks of learning at home. You will get a new pack every term. For each week of learning, you get an activity page which describes the 5 activities you will do that week with your child. Day 1, story time. Day 2, drawing and writing. Day 3, looking and listening. Day 4, games. Day 5, shapes, letters and numbers. Each week starts with story time, remember? So each week you get a story. The story can come as a big picture, a little book, or read aloud story. Lastly, each week you will also get the game and letter templates you will need. We've also included this activity record, which is a great way for you and your child to keep track of what you've done together. Remember to write your child's name on the sheet. Color a star as you complete each activity. We are sure your children will want to show their teacher how much they have done at the end of each term. The materials are available in English, Afrikaans, and isiXhosa. We encourage you to keep all your resources in a safe place. We will send out messages to help you prepare and use the materials at home. Make time together. We know you can make a difference to your child's learning.
Thank you, Christine. So you would have noticed that the video speaks directly to parents or caregivers of young children how to use the material, but you will we will learn as we talk that the program is mediated by teachers to their parents. We'll get to how the program is run very soon. So in the next few slides, we're going to briefly show you the materials that are on offer in the program. Christine, I think you must just move one up. There you go. So on this slide, you'll see that the core time materials consists of a guide for parents, caregivers, and tutors. The guide helps them get prepared and then also provides the weekly activity planners for the whole year. So that's going to be packaged in a booklet for parents, caregivers, and tutors. Justine, you can go to the next slide. In addition to this guide for parents, caregivers, and tutors, there are 4 learner activity books. You'll see them on the screen, on the left side of the screen, 1 for each term. And just for your interest, each term, term 1 is made up of 6 weeks worth of work, term 2 and term 3, 9 weeks worth of daily activities, and term 4, another 6 weeks worth of daily activities for parents to mediate with their children at home. Thanks, Christine. We've really started to highlight the tutor element of this program, in that the tutor as the caregiver of the child in an after-school setting. And so what we've done is we've created a booklet for tutors, which contains important background information on how young children learn, and it also gives them tips on how to prepare each of the time activities when they are working with small groups of children. So this is an additional resource deliberately designed for those who are going to be standing in the place of parents in an after-school program, in using it as well, not only in after-school programs, could be also in-school tutoring. Okay, so we're still talking about all the resources on offer, and if you go to the next slide, excuse me, we've designed 2 assessment tools to track the progress of children's early language and math skills. The Mathematics Early Learning Assessment was designed by Red Ink, and the Wordworks Early Literacy Assessment are being piloted at the moment in a field study we are doing with Time. We're going to speak about it in a little bit. And the good news is that these resources, these 2 tools, will be made available for schools and organizations as soon as it's possible to do so. Thank you, Christine. Now that we've given you a really brief overview of the core materials and the other supporting materials in the Time program, the next few slides are going to give you an overview of the training and the support that you can expect from Wordworks if you sign up, not if, when you sign up for 2023. We provide, pardon me, free online orientation, refreshers, reflection sessions throughout the year. We've given you a breakdown of it on the screen. So in term 1, we will provide you with online orientation to the Time program. In term 2, we will provide online sessions again, but this time with the focus on helping teachers mediate the materials with their parents. And we will also provide other sessions, we will provide guidelines or tips for tutors who work with children, directly with children. And in term 3, we provide online reflection and refresher sessions for both teachers and tutors. You can go to the next slide, Christine. So in addition to the online training or online orientation that you get when you sign up for Time, we also provide, oh, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. Thanks. We also provide regular program updates and tips via email. So when you sign up and you provide us with your details, you will get weekly Time program updates and tips. These emails are very easily distinguishable from your other emails. We've put them on the screen and they're very recognizable by the program banners that come with the email. It's really meant to stand out for you when you get them. So we can't, because the aim with Time is to grow our reach, we cannot mentor individuals on site, but we hope that this kind of virtual support, this kind of virtual mentoring through these updates and top tips will really help our program partners with the implementation of the Time program. Thank you, Christine. So I've just explained to you how we keep in touch with you, teachers or program managers, so that you're constantly updated with Time program information, or you get tips on how to mediate it. But we also know that parents need support as well. So what we've done is we are able to provide parents, caregivers, tutors with support to get to free online messages, videos and audio messages. And the way that they do that, the way they have access to it, is you will see on the screen, we've provided QR codes on selected activities every week. In fact, it's one activity every week on the weekly planner. And when the parent or caregiver or the tutor scans the code, it will take them directly to the Time website. And you'll see there those 2 blue images isn't just an indication of where they will land. And there they'll click on an audio and listen to a support message, which will help them mediate that activity even better with their children. So those are the 2 levels of messaging support that we provide. One via email to program partners and teachers, and then the others through QR codes that really helps parents to get directly to the messages. I'm not sure if I said, but these messages are data free, which means that if you're using your mobile, obviously you're using your phone to scan the message, the parents will be able to listen and watch and read these messages without it eating up any data. Okay, the next slide, please, Christine. So in addition to email support messages, QR code support messages that go directly to parents, we also have a website. And this website is also a tool. We always encourage our partners who are using the TIME program to dip into the website. And I'm just going to ask Christine if you can click on the link that's in the slide, Christine. Just going to give people a really brief overview because I think we're still good for time, Colleen? Yeah. Of the webs. Yeah.
That's fine. We're fine for time.
For time. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So if you just, this is just where you will land if you go to the TIME website. And Christine, if you can just scroll up so that people can see there are 6 containers. There you go. There are 6 containers, and I'm just going to take you briefly through all the containers at the moment. So the first one, Christine, if you could just open that TIME activity packs. So the link that when Christine clicked on there, you'll see if she scrolls down, we've given you the TIME activity packs per term. So obviously this is this year. Well, the packs won't change, but every year, every term, we will provide them online. So you may be asking, well, why is it there? If you're going to sign up, you're going to get hard copies anyway, which we'll talk about later. This is really, you know, if you want to make an extra copy, or you know, lost a page or 2 and you just want to access, you want to access it easily. Also, if you're a very small organization, you only have a few children that you work with, and it's not worth your while to join our print run, you know, like, so under 10 copies, you can literally just print them for free, download them from the website. Those are the activity packs. Christine, you can go out of that one and just go to the second container. And you can just open that first one there, grade R English. So here are I mentioned earlier on the activity guides for parents. And really, this is where you'll find the electronic copy of those guides. So Christine can just squiz down there. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the content now, but it really helps the parent get ready and prepares them for all the activities that are to come. Christine, you can go out of that one, and then you can go to the third container. Okay, so Christine just clicked on our program, the support messages, and just a few minutes ago, I was explaining to you how parents scan the QR code on the activity, and it takes them to the website. Well, this is where it's held. So I'm just going to ask Christine if you can, I'm going to just choose a random one. Let's take grade 1 story time. And just take the first one, the little book story there, Christine. Okay, so thanks. So you can access these support messages directly from the website, which is exactly what we're showing you now. But as I said, the good news is parents don't even have to navigate their way through it like that. They scan the code, it takes them directly to a page that looks just like this. And you'll see, we don't have the time to play it, but this is all about little books. There's a little arrow, you can click, and then you'll hear one of our team's voices to support parents with that activity. It's also written, so you can read and follow by listening. And if you scroll down, Christine, sometimes there's even a video. In this case, there's a video on how to fold the little book. If Christine's going to keep scrolling, you'll notice that the messages are in 3 languages. So this is fantastic for parents or caregivers, if you think that they may be supporting a child that's learning in a language that's not their own, they'll still do the activity in the child's the language of learning, but they can get the support message in a language that they are the most comfortable with. You can go out of this, Christine. You can keep going. Yeah, another one back. Right, and now we're just going to, I'm not going to, yeah, maybe we just click on the join the time there. So at the moment, this is what interested schools, organizations were using to register for this year. So if you go onto the website, because you're very eager after we leave today, it's not updated with 2023 application form. It will be coming soon, but just showing you that this is where you would click to sign up for time, but we are also giving you that application form via your email, so you'll have them in 2 places. Okay, you can go out there, Christine. And then the middle, the second one in that bottom row there is a time support for teachers, and I will just open it up. Some of our this is a work in progress. So every time we create something that we know is going to be helpful for a teacher to mediate it with their parents, we put it here. So at the moment, there's a PDF which helps as the teachers with ideas on how they can actually mediate and orientate their parents to time. And then I think the other thing, if you can just keep scrolling, Christine, at the moment is we've even provided this year's orientation sessions, recordings of the orientation sessions. So, you know, you come to an orientation session and there's so much information, you know, you can't take it all in. You can go back to the website and the support is there. And then if we go out of this support for teachers, we've also, as I said, adding to a group of people who are volunteers or tutors working with children. And if you click on that, you will get, as I said, we upload the information or the resources as we have available. And I just spoke to you about that notes for tutors we've created. That is available for you. If you already are using time this year, you can access it, or you plan to train tutors, you can use this tool. Okay, so that was just, Christine, you can go out. Thank you. Really just a brief, did I miss anything? Oh, it's fine. The last bit, really, in fact, I should have taken us there, Christine. I wonder if we should just go back there. Yeah. And if you go to that last acknowledgements bit, I think what we want to show you here is just, well, we talk a little bit about our reach, which what we spoke about earlier on. But if you scroll down, Christine, I think there's a list of all the, here we go. There's a list of all the current organizations who use the time materials in their work. And we'll be very excited when this list grows to include more organizations. Because as we said, it's developed, but it can only work when it can only reach the children, reach the parents to reach the children if we work in partnership. Okay, Christine, so we can go out of the website. Is this the slide? Yeah, so those 3 slides was to show you the kind of support that we give through messaging for program implementing partners, messaging for parents, and of course the data-free site, which is a place for you to keep, where we will keep uploading relevant materials for you for program implementation. Okay. So the next few slides, we're going to give, you can go to the next one, Christine. So in the next few slides, we really want to just give you a very brief overview of a very exciting aspect of time this year, which is our time research that's taking place at the moment. So in a nutshell, surveys were sent to grade R and grade 1 teachers in schools who are using time, and we were able to get some highlights from teachers. I don't think you can see, I can see it very clearly. Some teachers was also selected for interviews, and so I'm just going to read some of the comments that teachers have to say about time. But I'm going to really put my colleagues on the spot now. I wonder if Colleen or Kerry or Cheryl could maybe just read the comments. I just need to sort myself out here.
I don't mind reading it, but I'm sure one of our other colleagues who've been so quiet,
Yeah.
Kerry or Cheryl, would they like to read?
I see Cheryl's mic is on, and Kerry, they can take turns. They'll play tag.
And there's
I'll
Nsiki
read
too.
two, you read two.
I don't know.
Thank
Okay.
you. Well, I just catch my breath.
Okay, some
Thank-
parents are more engaged with their children, and this is evident in the the children's confidence, and also on the video that the parents send whenever it's role playing or just the parent engaging in discussions. They have concerning stories. Parents are also more eager to learn and empower themselves so that they are able to assist their kids more.
Thanks, Cheryl. And then another teacher commented that learners are very excited to go home and do their work, their homework, and then to bring it to school to show off. They are fond of stickers because they want the rewards, and they can identify some of the sounds and numbers.
The learners had a better understanding of learning content regarding language and math.
And then the last one on that slide, some parents are really helping their kids at home, and I can see in class their schoolwork has improved a lot. Even some grandparents are helping the children who stay with them during the week. It is really inspiring to see the effort they put in. Some learners who is Xhosa speaking and cannot speak Afrikaans at all are actually improving in their maths as well as home language, which is Afrikaans.
Thank you, those two lifesavers there on the other end of the screen. So that was just to inspire you, with, we know there's always challenges in reaching parents. There's always challenges in implementing programs successfully, but it's very encouraging to see that teachers who are using it are seeing the value for parents and the relationships that are being built up with them and their parents. So our field workers have also been, you can go to the next slide, Christine. Our field workers have also been conducting learner assessments with selected grade R children, and they're using those tools I just shared with you earlier on, the MELA, the Maths Early Learning Assessment Tool, and the WELA, the Wordworks Early Language Assessment Tools. So they've been conducting assessments with selected grade R children, and they're going to be tracking these children, the same grade R children, through their grade 1 year. The next slide, please. So as part of the research, not only have teachers been interviewed and schools been interviewed, and not only have children been assessed or are being assessed, our field workers are also conducting home visits to see how the time materials are actually landing in homes, and are very excited to share with us the kind of support that is still needed for the program to be successful. But we've been getting such, just the photos alone are just so encouraging about parents who really want to help. And now that there's a structured activities that can help them help their children, it's a winning combination. So we're very excited about the research and what we're going to learn from that. And lastly, regarding the research, we've got some quotes from parents, and I'm going to ask the same to Kerry and Cheryl, if they could just read those 4 comments from interviews with parents from the research.
Yeah, these comments are very exciting to receive from the parents. I know that if I want my child to do well at school, I have to help, and this work shows me how to help.
This parent says, I never knew that I would grow so close to my son. This program has taught me that as that a father is as important as a mother to help our child to learn.
Time has enabled me to understand how my child learns. Now I know that he is a visual person, as he enjoys poster stories more.
And this is music to teachers' ears, I think. Coming from a parent, I respect and understand the teachers so much more. In the beginning, it was not so easy, but I've now learned how to help my child. My family admire my work with my child. They say I must study to become a teacher. I think I will. I love doing work with my child and even the neighbor's child.
Thank you, Katie and Cheryl. Nothing, you know, I mean, every time we read these quotes, we are just so moved to know that it is possible to start making a difference in homes. And these are just encouraging quotes from those parents who allowed our field workers to go in and spend time with them. Okay, so that brings the end of this brief overview to the TIME program. And like we said, hold on. Very soon, we're going to take you through your next steps in case you are interested in signing up or you want to continue to sign up in 2023 for TIME. I'm now going to hand over to Colin, who's going to take you through the Homeschool Partnerships program.
Okay, thank you, Pauline. And like I was saying to everyone, just hang in there. We know we're giving you lots of information. We will be following this up with an email. And in that email, Pauline will explain to you, we're going to give you info sheets that, you know, just will help you remember all the things we've said. And we will talk about within our team how we can get this recording to people for some of you who have requested. Okay, so I hope you're just doing a little bit of shoulder and moving and between your head and, you know, so that you can listen to the next thing that we're going to say now. It's around the Homeschool Partnership Program, and we call it the HSP. Now, the Homeschool Partnership Program, Christine, on the next slide, this program has been running for over 15 years. Right, at Wordworks. And the program Pauline spoke to you about now, TIME, is also a parent program. And that was when COVID hit, we felt the need to support parents, you know, where they can get these resources into the home without having to come to us for training sessions or to come to the school to be trained. So the Homeschool Partnership Program is a program like TIME. It builds that cooperation between families and schools. And we like to say that we always speak about, you know, a triangle. So we have the child, right? Very importantly, we have the parent or the home, and then we have the school, the teachers. So that triangle has to be complete because that will help and that will ensure that this child has the success he or she needs throughout his life, putting on a good standing. So we see the parents, or we encourage parents or the caregivers, we're saying parents here, but we know it's anyone who works with a child at in the home. We like them to see their role as their child's first teacher, but not a formal teacher like you are in your classroom, those of us who are teachers, and in an informal way, in a fun way, in a playful way. But here we have a structure, we're giving you the materials to work with the child. So remember what Pauline has said about TIME, and then just think about the Homeschool Partnership Program, and maybe you can work out what's same and what's different, because they are both parent programs. So how this works for the Homeschool Partnership Program, it's a little bit more intense in terms of the training. So what we do is we train teachers, and we used to do it over 3 Saturdays. You know, I want to say back in the day, that's just before COVID. But now our reach has spread so far that we're going, even though now it's safe for us to do face-to-face, the online works better because we are reaching so many more people across the country. Okay, so now we offer 7 online training sessions to teachers. They come in the afternoons, 2 to 2.5 hours for 7 afternoons. And we normally run it in the first term and part of the second term so that they come consecutively. Normally on a Wednesday afternoon. And when we finish the training, the teachers always say, now, what am I going to do with my Wednesday afternoons? But they come and they commit to those 7 afternoons and they learn so much. And while they are being trained on the Homeschool Partnership Program, these sessions, right? There are 8 sessions in the program. Each session has a special focus. So while they're being trained, they go and start recruiting their parents for these parent sessions, and they then run 8 parent sessions, right? With the foundation phase, grade R to 2, but they can also include grade 3 if there's a need. So these parents come over 8. They normally do it either after school, anytime after the children leave. Some schools want parents who are to accommodate more parents. They have it in the evening, others have it on Saturday morning. It depends on the school. Right? They run those 8 sessions, and these sessions then will give ideas to the parents, will give them the resources they need to support early language and literacy in the home. Okay, and as I said, they do it in a very informal, fun way with the resources that we provide. To say to the teachers or whoever is training on the course or presenting the course, it says accredited at 45 points. And that's quite good because it's the number of hours they come for the training as well as running those 8 sessions with the parents. Okay, then on the next slide, it's an overview on explain to you what it actually looks like, just the model, right, in a nutshell. So what does Wordworks do for HSP? Wordworks does the training of the teachers or the facilitators, if it's not the facilitators. Wordworks offers support. We have support persons. We want to call ourselves mentors, but it's more of a support. So we assigned schools. We each have a group of schools we assign to, and we offer that support to teachers. It's WhatsApps, it's phone calls, emails. You can ask your support person of Wordworks anything that you need to know. And so that's the person that will be supporting you in your program. And then, of course, the resources is what we offer, and I'll show you what the resources look like later. Then you, as the foundation phase teachers who are now teacher facilitator for HSP, you, after you have been trained, you would run the 20 hours of workshops. So it's 2 to 2.5 hours over 8 weeks, right, with your parents. And we like to say run it consecutively as early in the year as you can, from the first term, like towards the second term. And then, the children are ready, and the parents are prepared. We normally say this because, it gets cold in the 3rd term and then parents don't want to come out. So they run the 20 hours of workshops. We say after school hours. I want to say after teaching hours, because, school hours, you don't know when it starts and when it ends these days. Teachers work so long hours. But I want to say these teachers are committed to do this after their teaching hours because they see the value and they see the impact of what it has on the children. And they see the children's results improve, their confidence improve, and so on when their parents are so involved in their learning. And we say teachers do this on a voluntary basis. It is part of your core curriculum, right? But it's not your teaching the class, but it extends to your core curriculum. And we know that, with the whole school evaluation, they talk about parent and community. What are we doing as a school to support parents and community? It fits in there. So it's not an add-on. It's part of our core business to support parents, to support their children. Okay. And I know that this is starting to shift more and more, and schools and teachers are starting to see their role also to support parents. And so what is the role of the parents or the caregivers? They come and voluntarily too. We do have a recruiting way that we recruit the parents, but they come and they participate in these workshops. They then take home the resources that the teacher has provided, which we will show you soon now. And these resources are games, the parents get a workbook that they work in, they take home these games, and they take home the activities that they do with their children at home. They don't only need resources, a lot of it is talking and stories, etc. And the very lovely part is they graduate. So the parents graduate after doing 8 sessions, 1 session a week. So it takes about 8 weeks. And so they graduate, and many parents, and I want to say this very respectfully, they say that they did not have the opportunity, many of them, to even reach matric. So this is their matric certificate. This is their graduation, and the teachers and the schools put so much planning, emphasis, and fun into this graduation for the parents that it becomes a really special occasion. Because the parents, many of them, and as you read in the previous quote, around time, there are parents who say, I now want to become a teacher assistant at my child's school. I want to help my child's teacher, or I even want to go and learn to be a teacher myself. So this does help parents and help the community as well. And with time, HSP and time both serve the children in the same way. Right? The children learn, it complements what you are teaching in your classroom. Right? The listening and speaking, the reading, the writing, the drawing, which leads to the child to, everything coming there and putting it down on paper, and of course, play. They're learning this through play because they are young children. They're in the foundation phase. We don't want home to become school, right? But they are learning in this fun way. So that is just to explain to what the model is for the homeschool partnership program. Okay, right. Now,
Colleen? Colleen,
Yes,
I'm sorry to
Pauline?
disturb you, but there have been two very interesting questions, and maybe you can tackle it as you end of the one. And they're both from organizations who just want to know in terms of, can HSP be used, by organizations who've got tutors, and there's someone who's got a reading club, and maybe it's something you can just address as part of the HSP presentation.
Right. It's not only for schools. So if you're an organization and you want to train a group of people, we do say that you do need some background to education. We used to say level 5, at least level 5. So because it's based on education principles, and it helps if I have that background to teaching and learning. So we normally would not train young people who just left school because they have no teaching background yet. It's mainly meant to focus on people with some educational background. But we can talk, we're not saying no. We can discuss and see how we can meet people halfway. So feel free to email us and ask your questions, and then we can respond to it. Okay. There's always a way to work things out as long as it benefits the child in the end. Okay, so this is a video that is HSP in action at a school. This happens to be Sentinel Primary in Hout Bay. It's an old video. And the two of the ladies who are in the video, these teachers are now working at the education department. They've gone through many years of teaching. They're no longer at the school now. They are both advisors. And this is Anthea, whose face you can see, and then there's Dawn, who's at head office now. And Dawn said to me, Colleen, you must stop playing this video now. I said, no, the video tells the message. So watch the video and tell me, and you can, I know you can't tell me, but put in the chat what you feel about this video. Okay, Christine.
There are many challenges teaching at Sentinel School because of the high unemployment rate of our parents.
I've been retrenched about a year ago, and that has brought my self-esteem very, very, very low.
They don't really realize that even though they are at home, that they are still able to help their children.
A lot of the parents don't get involved in the education of their children. And that makes it quite difficult for us to deliver the kind of curriculum that we would like to deliver.
Dawn Gazette and Anthea Elliott teach grade R at Sentinel Intermediate School in Hout Bay. For them, education is not only for children, but for parents too.
Some of our parents are not literate. So it's not that they don't want to help their children, but they don't know how to help them.
Many parents did not complete their schooling. Many of them might not realize that they are their child's first teacher.
That is where the homeschool partnership program comes in, because we give parents lots of ideas that can actually help them to help their children at home.
Education specialist Bridget Comery initiated the homeschool partnership program 4 years ago to empower parents to facilitate the extension of education from school into the homes.
As a parent myself, I realized that the crucial aspect kind of, for me, the missing link is working with parents. A lot of parents I found really wanted information, they wanted knowledge, but they don't have access. So this is actually part of the redress kind of issue, is to provide that information.
At first I didn't know what it was all about, but I mean it was exciting from the start, and I'm happy to be a part of this program. These teachers, they offer up their time to help us to help our kids perform in school, you know, and that is great.
We work in little groups with the parents, where we then show them ways of how they can work with their children at home. It promotes informal learning of literacy and numeracy.
We are giving them ideas and skills to build upon that whatever is happening at home. Many parents don't know how to assist their children at home. So instead of telling the child, go and play outside or watch TV, you can now have a conversation with the child, which we would call in the program good talking moments.
It is so exciting to see what the parents actually get out of the program, the confidence that they've gained, the information that they now go home and share, the communication between them and their children.
Since I've started doing this class, my self-esteem has been great. I'm more excited now. I'm happier actually now. This class has actually helped me.
Ashrul Opperman is a single parent of 2 children who attend Sentinel Intermediate School.
Because of this classes, I've become more patient now. I'm listening to them. We understand each other more. We work together. The bond actually has grown much closer. And I'll advise all the parents to do these classes. It will let their children become better children and good learners.
Dawn and Anthea have just taken it on, and once they attended the facilitators course, that made a big difference, because then they had a guide to work from. They've done good work, really good work.
The graduation is a very exciting part of our program, and I think we are very excited about it. We would like to acknowledge our parents for all the time and the effort that they've put in. They set that little time aside to come and learn more about how they can help their children.
I feel so empowered. I can do it. I've achieved something, you know, and it's wonderful. If I can redo this class again, I'll do it with the greatest of pleasure.
And I'm so grateful because now I can teach my grandchildren something. So yeah, it's only for them that I really did it.
I feel ecstatic, honestly. I feel like a preschool teacher. I'm ready for grade R. To start my own homeschooling for parents, not just for kids, for parents and for the whole of Outbay.
I'm hoping that they would take it further and that they would encourage their friends to do the program. Don't let it stop at this point. Do it on a continual basis so that your children can grow and so that they can develop that love for learning and that love for reading. And at the end of the day, I know that it will have an impact on the community and that we will see change at our school.
These are South African heroes.
Okay, thank you, Christine. So you saw Bridget Comrie there. Bridget just retired from Wordworks last year. She's still consulting for us, but she's the one who wrote the program 16 years ago. Okay, right. So on the next slide, it's just a summary of the resources that come with the program. The parents receive a workbook. You'll see the Homeschool Partnerships workbook. That's their book. So they come to the session every week with that book. The book also includes games, as you can see, letter and sound games they play with the children, alphabet chart, some animal card games where they play memory games and all those vocabulary developing kind of games for the kids. So they're learning, they're having fun. The parents have their workbook. The teachers themselves, when you get trained, you will have a facilitator's guide. Right, a guide for facilitators, and everything in that guide will take you through the 8 sessions, step by step in the training, and that will be your support. So you will work from that guide to mediate the sessions with the parents. And each session has a focus, as I said. It will be like session 1 about what is it to be a parent and how can I support my child. Session 2 maybe good talking time about telling stories and reading stories, and then it's about drawing and writing and learning letter sounds, and every session has a focus, and the parents will get some homework or home activity to do and practice it with their children. They come back, they share their experience, they show what they did with the child, and then they learn the next thing. So as Pauline put in the chat, it's a course that is being done. Okay, with time, it's also a parent program. They're learning similar skills, but they don't have to run an 8-week course, but it can reach a lot more parents. In this case, the teachers invite the parents to the school and they come and do the course for the teachers. Okay, so that's that. Then on the next slide, it's just to show you how this training cycle works. As I explained to you, we're doing the online training now for 7 afternoons, right? And then the teachers on the right-hand side, you see they run the session with the parents at their school. And then at the bottom, you'll see a graduation. We don't say that they have to get graduation gowns, but many schools do because they want it to be special. They play this graduation music and they have, you know, quite an occasion with these parents and celebrate that they've completed the course. And of course, we want them, the parents, to take this home and work with their children at home. And we're encouraging males more so now these days, fathers, uncles, grandfathers to come to the course, and we're getting more and more of the male coming to the course, because previously it used to be just females, but we want dads also to get involved in the child's learning. Okay, and then lastly, we have a few quotes. So Cheryl and Kerry, seeing that you're so lovely with quotes these days, maybe you want to read a few of these quotes. These are quotes from parents who have completed the course. Now, just before they read the quotes, I want to say, when they complete the course, they fill in what do we call it, like an evaluation form of the course. That's in week 8. And these quotes come from those, the feedback forms that parents have written. Okay, over to you, Cheryl and Kelly.
Okay, first quote is, I have never had the opportunity to complete my matric. You will never know what this means to me.
And then another parent quote, I never thought that I could learn so much from these sessions as I have, and I'm very happy that I did.
My approach is much better now with my daughter, and I have more patience with her.
I feel empowered and proud of myself.
I've learned the importance of spending time with my children, how I can build on their knowledge informally by talking to them, making them use their imagination, creating things, play games.
I now have a better understanding of how to interact with my child. I would get frustrated and become impatient, not realizing that my child could not see what I was explaining. Now I use concrete objects and play and practice with my child, and I can see a difference.
Okay, thank you. So it's heartwarming to see what the course actually means to the parents. We know it's for the learners ultimately, but it actually builds communities. Okay, so thank you for listening to the Homeschool Partnership Program. So now on the next slide, it's the same slide you saw at the beginning. It's just now to sum up and say, yes, we've covered all of the programs that we wanted to talk to you about this afternoon, for the programs from Little Stars to Stella, to Time, to the Homeschool Partnership Program. So that covers the 4 to 8 years old. Okay, so that's what we bring to you today. And Pauline's going to talk you through the next step. So please don't leave. But what we'd like to do now is put the attendance register here. So we put it here now because it's also a feedback, and we need to understand, you know, we haven't done this for 3 years. We had an information session. We just sent out forms normally, but we want to know how you experience today, and it will help us plan for future. So you can either put on your camera of your cell phone and scan the QR code, or you can click on that link and it will take you to the feedback form, right? So Christine is also putting it in the chat box. So once you've scanned the QR code with your phone, we're going to move on to the next slide for Pauline to do the next steps. Otherwise, click on the link in the chat and just keep it open so that you can complete it. Please don't leave without completing the form, and please don't leave yet, because you need to know So how do I take this all forward? Okay, thank you for listening to me. So someone's hand is still up. You can please put your question in the chat if you have one. Okay, Pauline.
So, you know, from the time that we started sharing the first bit of information on our first program, the questions were already coming in. But so, okay, so now we're keen and we're interested. So this is an important, everything was important this afternoon to help you make an informed decision. But we'd like to take you through the next 10 minutes, just take you through clearly what are the next steps. So obviously you've been here, you are representing your school or you're representing your organization, and you now need to make, well, you're here because you're wanting to make decisions about which of Wordworks early literacy programs you will sign up for in 2023. One of the ways to help you make that decision, I mean, you're here, but we're also going to send you the recording of the session today. It will probably be sent via WeTransfer. Hey, Christine, it will go to everybody so that you've got an opportunity to actually watch it again in case you've missed some information in this very busy time that we've had with you. So once you've met, pardon me, with your school or your program teams to decide about what you're going to sign up for in 2023, we're going to ask that you complete an application form for one or more programs in 2023. This form, some of us have been saying it already, will be sent to you via email, probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then by Monday. And please note, the application form is not only for schools or organizations who are new and have expressed an interest. It's for all our current partners. We need to know what you're signing up for, pardon me, in 2023. So you'll get an application form. It'll be a Google form. It will have it will have a part for Stella if you want to sign up, if you're interested, HSP and time. I want to just pause to say that the application form does not include little stars. But if you are interested in the pre-grade art program that Natasha spoke us through, I don't know if Natasha is still, she is still here. Natasha is going to just pop her email address into the chat box now so that you can contact her directly if there's interest in little stars. But the application form is for programs for 5 to 8-year-olds. Time, HSP, and Stella. As Colin said, we're not only going to send you the application form, there'll be a link for you to reread a summary, a program information sheet, which is really all the ideas we were generating today with, the ideas we were giving you today, and it's on an information sheet. We really want you to take, and we know that you do take this process seriously. So once you're meeting and discussing, have a look at the program sheets before you, as you complete your application forms. I really want to emphasize, and we've put it here in the second point, please make sure that you have the approval of your school principal or the program manager or coordinator from your organization before you sign up, because we do ask you to include their names and their contact details on the form, and they, as leaders in your school, as leaders in your organization, need to understand the commitment the school is making. So don't just put their names there until you've checked in with them and they have understood what it means from your side to commit to either of the to the programs. We are asking that you submit that application form by it's exactly a month. We'll remind you regularly in this month, by the 26th of September. We do need time to plan our programs, to plan, our capacity, and to plan for the material. So we do really need your application by the 26th. I do want to say that because we know you can't commit to right now or in the next month, you can't commit to the actual numbers
of the materials that you will need for the program that you're signing up for. We are very aware of that. So this is an application form. It asks for contact information for the relevant parties at your school organization. And we will, this is the next point, but we will be in touch with you very early in 2023 to confirm your order before it goes into print. So don't fret that you can't give numbers now. It's really just, as I said, do you understand your commitment? These are the people who are the contacts information that we need, and we will contact you later early in 2023. So just a little bit about process. So once the materials, numbers, orders have been confirmed, your school, your organization will be invoiced once for the whole year, and your program materials will then be delivered once the school, the department, or the organization has paid for the materials. Okay, so I'm just going to pause there just to see if anybody has any questions about those four processes. I'll just summarize again. So we suggest that you re-watch parts of the recording if you need to. We'll send it. You look at the program information sheets, which is a summary of all the programs that we spoke about. It's coming by email. You then consult with your teams and particularly get the go-ahead from your principal or program manager to sign up. We'll confirm your numbers, and then you'll be invoiced in the new year. There are been some questions, Colleen, in the chat. I'm just not keeping my eye on it, but I see there's some things about cost, but we can talk about that now. I'll just finish off this section. And then, so those are your immediate steps. And of course, this we've been speaking to you about throughout this afternoon, but just to remind you that once you've signed up, you've ordered your materials, you've paid for them, they've been delivered, remember that we provide you implementation support. And if you go to the next page, the next slide, this is an indication of the support, a reminder, I should say, of what you get. Colleen mentioned it earlier, so I'm just summing up. You will get a contact person from this beautiful team that you can see on the screen there. One of those Wordworks women will be allocated to your school or your organization, and that is your contact person for any program queries. We provide online support sessions, as we've shown you, for all programs across the year, across the term. We managed to show you the Time website, but there are also program portals for HSP and Stella, Colleen, yeah? And you have access to those, to that support as well. And on the last page, the last slide, the next slide, not the last slide. Another reminder that while we can't mentor you in person, we do provide you with very carefully thought out program tips, program information that will come to you via email. So that's just a reminder of your next steps and a reminder of the support and training that we can provide to you once you've signed up. Okay, Colleen, I'm not sure if there have been questions or just comments that haven't been addressed yet.
Oh, yeah. So there were some questions around cost, as you said. I was trying to see on the chat. We will. I put the website in the chat because there's also a section of you can buy resources from Wordworks too, and then. Yeah, I was opening my website here while you were talking to look at, the catalogs. So if you click if they're on the website, and they click on any of the programs that they're interested in, the catalog will also be there. But just to say then that for time, we are working with WCD at the moment, and they are hoping to procure, but there are we cannot say it's a commitment at this stage because the WCED's priority, I'm going to say, and I hope I'm not saying too many things, one of the priorities is foundation phase. And Almaretta Toy, who heads up the foundation phase at WCED, has explained to us that this is a priority of the head of education of the province. And so they would want to procure, but they cannot tell us for which schools and when this will actually happen. So if we print over 50,000 copies, then we can, the price of the time materials will be between 50 Rand and 60 Rand. And we put that in a letter which we are going to send to you. Right? And that's for the whole year. So that child will get, or that parent will get the parent guide for the whole year, plus the 4 term packs for the child for the whole year. So we are printing paper, you may know, for schools and organizations has gone up so much that the prices have skyrocketed. So we trying, if we print in bulk, it will obviously be cheaper, but we don't know the numbers that we're going to print. We can only say that once we have the numbers and we know what WCD is going to print. So it's our hands are tied a bit, but we're anticipating between 50 and 60 Rand per child per year. And we know that schools do have budget meetings in October, SGBs, and we discuss those things. We're all at schools and we know how it happens. So maybe just start thinking about it. Prepare yourself. Maybe WCD puts the school on the list as a priority school, and maybe it will come in the first term, but we don't know how long procurement takes. And we know that's quite a process. In terms of HSP, I can tell you definitely that if a new teacher wants to be trained, then the facilitator's guide costs 50 Rand this year for the guide. The training is all free. You don't pay for the training. The facilitator's guide that they need is 50 Rand. And then the parent, we try and give, it depends on our budget, but we try and give up to 15 parent workbooks to the school for free. But if you want more than that, it will cost 60 Rand per parent workbook. All this information is in the letter that you will be getting now. So once you've been here today, we are going to email you, hopefully by tomorrow. This information will come in a letter for you to help you make your decision, so that by the 26th of September, when you have to make your decision, you will make an informed decision, knowing costs and so on as well. Okay, I hope that answers the questions. Okay, right. I'll be on to the final slide. I hope everybody's completed the register and the feedback form. It means a lot to us to read your feedback, and we will take note of what you have said. It's just then left for me to say thank you. Thank you firstly to you who've been here today. Who've sat
Colleen, you want to put your camera on?
My camera is on.
Oh, I can't see you.
Okay, I hope others can see me. Well, according to here, it says Katie's on, and I'm looking at myself. Okay, thank you, Pauline.
All right, no problem.
Natasha, can you see me?
No, I can't, but I see Christine just stopped the presentation, so we'll try now.
Okay.
Can't see you.
I can see you, Colleen.
Okay,
maybe it's just the way we're doing it. Sorry, Colleen.
So that means you there.
We want to see how lovely that the cameras are going on. Put on your cameras. It's so nice to see faces. Yeah, so we want to say thank you to you for 2 hours of spending this 2 hours with us, and we're hoping to spend more time with each other doing the programs that we've just spoken to you about. And we appreciate the fact that you took the time to be here. Right? So we really appreciate it. And then I also want to say to our colleagues, thank you. Thank you to Mamuso Mukania, who's our director, for allowing us to do what we do, and for making the difference. We like to say with Wordworks, what do we say? I don't know if you can see, changing lives through literacy. Now that's what we try to do as Wordworks. Thanks to Pauline. I know she's not well today, but she sat through.
She did well.
With a croaking voice, but it all worked out. And then, of course, to Christine for always being our backup and being here. And to Natasha for talking about Stella's little sister, Little Stars. And then, of course, all our colleagues. And I don't know why they're not putting their cameras on. Cheryl's here, Kerry's here, and Siki was here. It's just nice. We are a team, and we are the Wordworks family, and we're all part of you. Okay, you are partners. You're part of our network. So rest well, everyone. Look out for the email that we will be sending you with the information and the application form. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Thanks. I don't think there's any questions that were left unanswered in the chat. I think we answered you all, but feel free to email. Maybe we should put info@Wordworks in the chat. Yeah. info@wordworks.org.za. That is an email address that we will get that email if you want to email us. Of course, Natasha's put her email address in there if you want to speak directly to her about Little Stars. Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest this evening. And I see Fahima, I see you are there too. Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Maybe Wordworks want to